Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
We are from group 3. We are going to present about the cohesion and coherence of the editorial post by Ahmad Dahlan on Journal of English Studies, Volume 3, Issue 2, September 2016. But before we start, I would like to introduce the speakers. So the first speaker is Syamsuryati. The second speaker is Nurul Fadilah Swardi. The third speaker is Muhammad Nurul Multazam. The fourth speaker is Andi Muhammad Fitra. The fifth speaker, Iin Sulatri Odami. The sixth speaker, Titi Yuniarti Usman. The seventh speaker is Aswar Idrus, and the last speaker is Zahraini Fajrinur. So I would like to invite the first speaker. Time is yours.
Next slide, Kak. Okay, thanks for the chance. And I will explain about abstract and introduction. Abstract concept of discourse involves three dimensions that are as language, use, communication of beliefs, human cognition, and interaction in social situations as a language use. Discourse consists of two elements, cohesion and coherence. Discourse is divided into spoken and written discourse. Written discourse, such as newspaper, is very familiar today. One of the famous newspaper in Indonesia is the Jakarta Post. The most essential article in a newspaper is its editorial. Therefore, the research has been extended to find cohesion and coherence, the phase of the editorial in the Jakarta Post. In this research, subtype data where text consisting of cohesion and coherence device. The source were editorials in the Jakarta Post, my 2011 edition that consisted of 28 editorial articles. The data was analyzed using identity method. Result of the analysis showed that editorial in the Jakarta Post, May 2011 contain all kinds of cohesion and coherence device. The editorial contain grammatical cohesion, reference, ellipse, substitution, conjunction, and lexical cohesion. Reiteration and collocation. Coherence device, repetition, personal reference, transition are also contained in the data. Next, Kak. Introduction. The alignment and the relevance of language used in a communication can be explained as a discourse. Discourse in general can be distinguished into three focus. The concept of discourse will already have encountered its three main dimensions. A, language use, B, the communication of belief, cognition, and C, interaction in social situation. Given these three dimensions, such as linguistic for the specific study of language and language use, psychology for the study of belief and how they are communicated, and the social science for the analysis of interaction in social situation. There are two terms that are very fundamental in discourse analysis, which studies the relation among a text within the other texts that are cohesion and coherence. Cohesion is the use of language form to indicate semantic relation between elements in a discourse. Coherence is a grammatical and semantic interconnect techniques between sentences that form a text. Okay, I think enough my material. Back to moderator.
Thank you. For the next speaker, please.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thanks for the chance that has given to me. As the second presenter, I'm going to present about the research methodology that the writer used in the research. Next slide. Okay. The research observed cohesion and coherence of the editorials in the Jakarta Post May 2011 edition as the object of the research. To identify and analyze the object of a research, the research to identify and analyze the object of a research, the research determined the research types. Sudaryanto in 1986 on page 63 states that there are two types of research, namely quantitative research and qualitative research. Quantitative research is a research includes any type of research based on percentage, average, chi-square, and other statistical computations. While qualitative research is a research procedure that results in descriptive data in written and spoken forms in language community. In this research, the research is fully a qualitative research. Next slide. Okay. The research used observing method to gather data from 28 editorials articles of the Jakarta Post May edition in researching the pattern and function of cohesion and coherence of the research object. Sudaryanto in 1983 on page 132 states that there are two methods of gathering data in linguistic research, namely observing method and interviewing method. Next slide. Okay. While according to Haugen in 1971 in Sudaryanto, in 1993 on page 15 in Muhammad 2011 on page 224, there are three primary methods to analyze the data that are identify method, distributional method, and introspective method. The research used identify method. After analyzing the data, the research finding was displayed through informal method to display the data. Okay, I think that's all for my presentation. I give back to the moderator. Thank you.
Thank you. For the next speaker,
Okay,
present about discussion. Okay.
Thank you so much. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hello, everyone. In this section, I will be talking about cohesion and the editorials of the Jakarta Post. Please, next slide. Okay. Thank you. So what to discuss in this section? First one, I will be talking about what cohesion is. And then we will look at also definition of grammatical cohesions, which is a part of the cohesions. And at the end of my presentation, I will also talk a little bit about some cohesive device found in the Jakarta Post. Next slide, please. Okay, first thing first, we need to know that cohesion in discourse means solidity from which structurally established synthetical type. Next slide, please. In Mulyono, 1988, in Mulyana, 2005, asserts that a good and solid discourse occurs from cohesive sentences. Next slide, please. So cohesion refers to the various linguistic means like grammatical, lexical, and phonological by which sentences stick together and are linked into larger units of paragraphs or stanzas or chapters. In this explanation, we can see that cohesion needs to be achieved in a sentence, within a paragraph, and a cross paragraph for a text to make sense. I will explain about this in the next slide. Thank you. Yeah, so for example, let's take a look at these two sentences. The first, the green one, and the black one. If you can see the first sentence, you will see that the sentences are choppy and they are not connected. This because the sentence does not have cohesive device. So let me allow me to read the sentence. So Tim left home, full stop. He realized he had forgotten his homework, full stop. See, you will see that the first and the second sentences are hardly connected, and it's not easy to know that whether they have correlation or not, even though there is like a pronoun he there, but readers are still struggling to understand, to arrange the order of the sentence or the order of the actions. But compare it with the second sentence in which we use adverbials. Adverbial is an example of cohesive device. And this makes the sentence easier to understand. Let me read it for you. Tim left home early in the morning. Later that day, he realized he had forgotten his homework. By reading the sentence, you will see the sequence of the actions. What happens first, and what happens after that. So these two sentences are stick together because of cohesive device, and with that, the readers is easier to understand the sentence. Next slide, please. Okay. In cohesion, there are two things that we need to know. Yeah, these are called cohesion device, namely grammatical cohesion and lexical cohesion. Due to the lack of time that we have in this occasion, I will only talk about grammatical cohesion, and one of the examples of grammatical cohesion is reference. So what is a reference? Reference is the specific nature of the information that is signaled from retrieval. Based on the place of reference, the interpretation of reference can be divided into endophora, textual, and exophoric or situational reference, Halliday and Hassan. In case of the Jakarta Post, when the interpretation of reference lies within the boundaries of text, yeah, as I have mentioned earlier, that it's called endophoric relation. This relation form cohesive ties with the text. And then there are two kinds of endophoric relations, anaphora and cataphora. Anaphora is the presupposition of something that has gone before, whether in the preceding sentence or not. It is a form of presupposition that refers to some previous item. Another thing that we need to know about this part is that both anaphoric and cataphoric references use personal reference or pronominal references. And personal reference is reference by means of function in the speech situation through the category of person. In the Jakarta Post, or in the editorials of the Jakarta Post, consists of personal pronoun and possessive determiners. Several pronouns above are found are endophoric and include anaphoric. Some of the example can be seen in the next slide. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. This one I think we can skip this. Already explained this. Personal and administrative. Yeah. Okay. What you see on your screen are example of personal reference found in the Jakarta Post. The personal pronoun it is a cataphoric reference, and there is also an exophoric personal pronoun that is we. And almost all of the possessive determinants found in the Jakarta Post editorial are categorized endophoric and anaphoric, except our, which is exophoric. Okay, and for the second example of reference, demonstrative reference found in the editorials of Jakarta Post are these, those, here, and there. And these are categorized as endophoric because the interpretation of the references lies within boundaries of text. And anaphora consists of anaphora and cataphora, and the reference these, those, and here, which also found in the Jakarta Post, are anaphoric because they are presupposition of something or someone that has gone before. I think that's all that I can share about reference and grammatical cohesion. Thank you.
Okay, let me continue the presentation. I will tell about the substitutions. Substitutions. Substitutions are a relation between linguistic items such as words or phrases, or in the other word, it is a relation on the lexicogrammatical level, the level of grammar and vocabulary or a linguistic form. It is also usually as a relation in wording rather than in the meaning. The criterion is the grammar of function of the substitution item. In English, the substitution may function as a noun, as a verb, or as a clause. Then Halliday and Hassan divide the three types of substitution, namely nominal, verbal, and causal. The element of nominal substitution are once, and same. The substitution, one or once, always function as a head of a nominal group and can substitute only for an item which is itself head of a nominal group. Nominal substitution found in editorial of Jakarta Post May 2000 edition is 1. The nominal substitution 1 function as the head of the nominal group. There are three environments in which causal substitution take place: report, condition, and modality. The causal substitutions found in the editorials of Jakarta Post May 2018 edition, which substituted much of anger, has not been invented at Yudhoyono. It not is a substitution of conditional clauses. It is concluded that the causal substitution occurs on the entire clause, and the purpose is a clause. The clause of substitution is anaphoric because the preposition are the preceding sentence. Okay, that's all for me. Thank you. Back to the moderator. Hello. Okay, we will continue to the next presenter, Ian Sulastri. Are you here? Please continue the presentation.
Thank you. Okay, thanks for your opportunity, Katazam. Okay, I will present to topic about ellipsis and conjunction. Next slide. Okay, the essential characteristic of ellipsis is something that is present in the selection of underlying option that omitted in the structure. Nominal ellipsis means the ellipsis within the nominal group or the common noun that may be omitted and the function of head taken on by one of other elements. Nominal ellipses found in the editorials of the Jakarta Post May 2011 edition are those some, the other, most, and largest. Those are deictic, which function as a head. Some is non-specific, deictic, and functions as a head. The other is a post-deictic element. Next slide. No. Back kata. Okay. Next slide. Okay. Verbal ellipsis is an elliptical verbal group presupposes one or more words from previous verbal groups. Verbal ellipsis consists of two types that are lexical and operator ellipsis. In the editorials of the Jakarta Post May 2011 edition, the words can and will are lexical ellipses. They are the types of ellipses in which the lexical verb is missing from the verbal group. The word accepted is an operator ellipsis because it involves only the omission of operators. All of the verbal ellipses are anaphoric because their presuppositions are in the preceding sentence. Next. The second, conjunctions. Conjunctions is rather different in nature from the other cohesive relations. Conjunctive elements are cohesive not in themselves, but indirectly by virtue of their specific meanings. They are nor primarily devised for reaching out into the preceding text, but they express certain meaning which presuppose the presence of other components in the discourse. Next. Next, Kak. You can enter elaboration means one clause that expand other by elaborating on it by restating in other words, specifying in greater detail, counting or exemplifying. Holiday 1985. Elaboration conjunction consists of two kinds that are apposition of clarification. Apposition elaborates other words or phrases or clauses by expository or exemplification. There are some elaboration in the editorials of the Jakarta Post-May 2011 edition. The word that is an apposition that is expository, and for example, is an exemplification. Clarification elaborates other word or phrase or clauses by reinstated or summarize them. The word reader is a kind of clarification which is corrective and in particular is the same, but the word is particularizing. Next, Kak. Extension means one clause expand other by extending beyond it by adding some new element, giving an exception to it, or offering an alternative. According Halliday, 1985. Extension involves addition, adversative, and variation. There are some extension in the editorials of the Jakarta Post, May 2011 edition. The conjunctions nor is an addition because the word presupposes additional item, but is a conjunction which relates to construct sentences, so the word is adversative. The word except is a variation extension conjunction. Enhancement means one clause expand other by embellishing around it by qualifying it with some circumstantial future of time, place, cause, or condition according to Halliday 1985. Enhancement involves spatio-temporal manner, causal, conditional, and matter. There are some enhancement in the editorials of the Jakarta Post May 2011 edition. The word soon is spatio-temporal because it is being used as the text, creating cohesive devices in terms of metaphorical space. Therefore, and yet are causal conditionals because they expand and qualify clauses or sentence with a circumstantial feature of condition. Okay, just it my material. Thank you very much, and back to moderator.
Okay, thank you. I will continue the materials. It is about the lexical cohesion. Lexical cohesion comes about through the selection of items that are related in some way to those that have gone before. It is stated by Halliday in 1985, page 310. Commonly, there are 4 types of lexical cohesion. They are repetition, synonymy, and collocation. But furthermore, Halliday and Hassan in 1976, page 288, divide types of lexical cohesion into reiteration, which is included repetition, synonymy or near synonym, superordinate and general word, and collocation. Next slide, please. The first type is reiteration. Reiteration is categorized into repetition, synonym or near synonym, superordinate, and general word. You can see in the screen here, the first is repetition. Repetition is the direct item form lexical cohesion. Some repetitions in the editorials of the Jakarta Post in May 2011 edition are hostage and peace. The findings show that repetition is always repeated by the word in preceding sentence. The words will be repeated in series of sentences. This process creates a relationship of lingual unit to be cohesive. Synonym is used to mean sameness of meaning. That is, lexical cohesion results from the choice of a lexical item that is in some sense synonymous with a preceding one. In the editorials, there are some synonyms or near synonyms. In the point 2, synonym, the words are graphs that refers back to corrupt, firms which refers back to company, and disappearance which refers back to missing. From the examples, it is concluded that synonym or near synonym used to meaning sameness in a clause or sentence. Next slide, please. Can you help me to refresh the slide? Because I just revised some points. Refresh the page, I mean.
Hello, gini. How about that? Do you see your presentation? Halo.
Dikit lagi, Pak. That refer to the upper superordinate. Superordinate is term for words that refer to the upper class itself. Superordinates in the editorials of Jakarta Post in May 2011 are the word bribery. That refers to upper class, which is more general, that is criminalization. In other words, criminalization is a superordinate of bribery. There's also the word trucks that refers to the upper class, which is more general, that is vehicles in the next sentence. Furthermore, the word vehicles itself is the member of transportation. The fourth is general words, not yet general words. There are some general words in the editorials of the Jakarta Post in May 2011 edition. General word, the good things, and one thing generalize the following points of a sentence in the data. It is concluded that general words, as found in the editorials of the Jakarta Post, May 2011 edition, correspond to major classes of lexical items, and they are very commonly used with cohesive force. Next, please. And collocation. Collocation has three restrictions that some are based wholly on the meaning or the item. Some are based on range. Some are in the strictest sense. You can see in Holiday and Hassan in 2079, page 284. The following are the examples of the collocation in the editorials of the Jakarta Post, May 2011 edition. Maybe in the next slide, please. For the examples. Okay, this is the following of the examples of collocations in the editorials of the Jakarta Post, May 2011 edition. The word injuries is a strong collocation with the word violence. Chains of collocation are investors, exporter, and importer. The words are collocational based wholly on their range. It is concluded that collocation, as found in the editorials of the Jakarta Post May 2011 edition, uses the words that have a strong collocational bond and make one sentence cohesive to another. I think that's all for my material. I give it back to the next speaker.
Well, thanks for the chance. I am also yours. I'm going to continue about material this about the Jakarta Post. Okay, because we have explained, we have here listened to the explanation about coherent, cohesion. I mean, for this time we are going to talk about coherence in the editorials of Jakarta Post. Okay, we talk about coherence. Though we know that we have got explanation about coherence, but let me repeat again. For this coherence, generally, coherence is the grammatical or semantic interconnectedness between sentences that form in the text. There is a research say a text can be said to be coherent. We can say there is a coherent when each successive sentence can be assigned wholly and without any difficulty to one of the relationships. So it means we can we can get it if there is any paragraph and there is no difficulty to get the point or understand the paragraph. And also coherence is how the meaning of sentences in the discourse hang together. Besides that, we can distinguish coherence is the micro and in a macro level and analysis. It means in a micro analysis, there is coherence occurs from the structure of discourse, while in a macro analysis, the term of coherence develops into topics or themes of discourse. However, there is a Richard Mulyana. Mulyana says in his research, actually cohesion and coherence is almost same or almost similar because there is some signs of cohesion aspect are also same or the signs of coherence aspect. So in this explanation, there is ambiguities between both of the aspect, but it is possible to distinguish them. Okay, and the Anglo say there are some techniques to achieve coherence in the program. First is the repetition, or can say keyword of phrases. The second is transition. The last is front reference. So if you want to find out any we determine this is coherence or not, so we can use this technique. So let's move to the next slide. Repetition. Okay, for first is about repetition or keyword phrase. For this example, I have show you. There is the example. We highly praise the hostage release, no matter the method and how the shipment were released, as it had succeeded in the bringing of the 20 men back home safely, and despite the delayed rescue operation by Indonesian military troops, which was taken only after it was assured that all hostages were safe. The whole hostage release process deserves a 2 thumbs up, as it broke the record in saving men held hostage at sea in less than 150 days. So for this paragraph, there is any repetition, the word of hostage. So for this example, maybe we directly know what this program talking about. So from the word hostage, because some word of hostage in this program, so we can know, we can understand that this program talk about hostage. Because there is in the following sentences use the keyword to linkage the message that Discourse is talking about. Next slide. Okay, the second is transition. For this, I show you this example. This is 2011 edition of Editorials of Jakarta Post. Education has remained a non-priority sector, regardless of its huge budget. Therefore, it comes as no surprise that the state has failed to provide decent rewards from its teachers. Okay, for this transition, there is a sign, or we can know this is coherence, because there is a special vocabulary words, because from remaining a non-priority sector and move to the huge budget, and then there is a surprise that state has failed to provide decent words for its teachers. So from this special vocabulary, because there is special vocabulary words, it means we can easily spread out the paragraph of this text. Therefore, transition makes the movement between sentences in paragraph smoothly. We can know this is coherent because about the special vocabulary words, it make the reader can understand, because there is in the sentences move smoothly. The next is pronoun reference. This is example also from Jakarta Post. This newspaper carried a touching reaction of Indomaret employees after being informed of the closure of the shop where they work in West Jakarta. Employees wept because they knew that they would soon join the list of millions of unemployed Indonesians. Hopefully, the promise of Indomaret and Alfamart to rotate them to nearby stores would become a reality. So from this pronoun reference, for example, the use of pronoun or they. So they, it can hang the meaning of one sentence to another sentence. in the discourse. By this pronoun, the reader will understand easily that every sentence in this example is building of an understanding. Because the description concludes, but pronoun is the simple way to achieve coherence of discourse. So from this, we got pronoun reference. In this example, we can know the meaning, or we can say if we can determine this example is coherent. Okay, next slide. Yeah, thinking up for my explanation, I hand over to moderator. Thank you.
Previous slide, please. Okay. So we can see the relation and difference between coherence and cohesion. The repetition is the keywords or phrases that are very crucial to the main idea in a paragraph or text that relate the meaning of a discourse, while a transition considered as a special vocabulary words that spread out of the paragraph or text. And pronoun reference is to hang the meaning of the sentence to the other in the discourse. Okay, next slide, please. Yeah, and the benefit of this research or study, practically cohesion and coherence are very important in writing process, especially to write something like a newspaper. And technically, it is a map in understanding the dimension and limitation study of discourse. I think that's all for our presentation today. Thank you so much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
For other groups, if you have any questions or response about our presentation, please don't hesitate to give your question. That's all for our presentation. Thank you so much for the attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.